Hello everyone and welcome to the contingency plan. How would the police react in a shit hits the fan situation, and what are the odds of law enforcement actually giving you any assistance at all in an emergency? That may depend entirely on the cause of it. Let's look at several possibilities and what we might expect the reaction from law enforcement to be in each case. The EMP. As some of you may already know, I believe that EMPs, as they have been sold to us, are a hoax. However, for the sake of argument, let's just assume that they not only exist, but a ginormous one is detonated over the United States, destroying all solid-state electronics and plunging us back into the 1800s. We are told that all forms of electronics will go down immediately, and we can expect to be without power for at least a decade, at which time most everyone will be long dead. In such a situation, obviously not only will 911 not work, but neither will any form of communication between the police and dispatch. So not only will you not be able to let anyone know that you need help, but there's no way for those providing the help to communicate with one another. According to the experts, no vehicles will run either, so they would all be on foot or at the very best on bicycles. Most police officers will head straight home to be with their families. The only ones that might hang around for a little while to attempt some form of order would be the few without families. But without any form of communication, backup, or transportation, they too would soon head home. In such a scenario, lawlessness would begin almost immediately and the police would simply cease to exist. Financial collapse. While initially the police would attempt to do their jobs, as time went on and the realization hit them that more than likely they would not be seeing any more paychecks and that their pension is for all intents and purposes gone, we would see them start to walk off the job in large numbers. Again, we would end up with lawlessness and no police presence. Civil unrest. This is probably the only scenario where we would see the police continue to do their job, at least for the longest amount of time. However, don't expect them to view civilians as good guys or bad guys in such a scenario, and understand that most of them will be far too busy to respond to 911 calls. In recent years, the police have been militarized, or used mostly to generate revenue. Due to this and other factors, many have become jaded and would relish an opportunity such as civil unrest to dole out punishment to anyone that is not part of the Brotherhood. However, depending on the level and severity of the civil unrest, eventually many would tire of beating and killing regular people and gravitate towards being home to protect their families, as well as for self-preservation. They would choose the relative safety of being home to being in the middle of the violence. The amount of time that took would be up to the individual unless herd mentality kicked in and they started to leave in large numbers. Eventually, if the violence went on long enough, there would be no law enforcement to be found. Invaded by a foreign nation or nations. This is actually the most likely scenario for shit hits the fan in my opinion, and in such a case law enforcement will be dealing with the same issues the rest of us are and will be non-existent. Calling 911 in such a case would be pointless. Meteor or asteroid? These only exist in movies. Bottom line, in a shit hits the fan situation, you're going to be on your own when it comes to protecting yourself and your family. Even if emergency services are technically available, the odds of anyone showing up will be extremely low or more than likely non-existent. Thank you for watching and God bless each of you. Peace.